Hi, this is Cheryl with the Cut at Home Design Team. Today I have a fun shaker card for you. I've made this shaker using a Spellbinders cover die. So it covers the entire front of an A2 card. This one is called It's a Hoot, and it features these fun little owls. Let me show you what the die itself looks like. It actually comes in two pieces. One cuts the outer edge and the other cuts the inner detail. So you wouldn't have to cut a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 piece to start with here. You can just sort of lay a hunk of paper on your cutting plate and put these two plates there and cut at the same time. Now what you want to be careful of, and I'm going to show you here on my background paper, is that you center this middle plate inside of the outer die. If you don't do that, then your borders won't be nice and even. So once you get it centered, kind of like I've got here, then you'll want to use a piece of washi or painter's tape or something like that to hold these dies in place while they run through the machine. Otherwise, you're going to end up with borders that are off. You can see here my borders top and bottom and on the sides are pretty consistent, and that's just because of good die placement. So it's very easy to do. The die cuts out very, very nicely, so no worries about that. All the pieces ejected so very easily. It's an easy thing to do. So once I've got this piece, what do I do to make it a shaker? Well, the first thing I need is a piece of acetate to put behind it. You can see I've already done that. You see the shiny plastic back there. You want clear because you want to be able to see the objects inside without any problem. Now when you're attaching this upper paper to the acetate, you don't have to have a perfect seal because nothing's going to leak out at that point. All the ingredients are going on the other side of the acetate. So use your Angel Craft tape, use a little glue, whichever you prefer, to attach the acetate to the front frame. Then you're going to flip it over to its back side, now with the acetate included. And here what I've done is I've used these little 1/8 inch strips of foam tape. You can see that it's pretty low dimensional foam. This happens to be a Doris product, but others make it. I've run that all around the outer edges, again trying to seal everything in. This is where things do leak out of, so you want to be very careful with what you're doing. Where one strip wasn't enough, I pieced another one in, so everything's sealed so nothing can leak out. Here's where you put the fun stuff in. The card sample that I showed you before, I just used a little glitter in. Here I'm going to add some fun little spiders for Halloween. I have a variety of little objects that I can add. This little spider guy is sticking to my thumb and just really kind of annoying me. I'm going to add a few pumpkins. When adding things like this, I don't want to add too many. When you add too many, it's kind of hard to see them. They are so full of static this morning, so everything is sticking to me. I would rather have more orange than black pumpkins, so I'm just going to set that guy out and put this guy in. I feel better about that. Of course, we need a few bats. Again, less black because I've already got so much black on this project, but those are the only ones that want to come out of the jar. And then finally, I've got a few white skulls. Now, you never want to go entirely without glitter on your project. These things are very fun. They're just not quite the same as having that glitter effect. So I've got some super chunky glitter with me today. I always add glitter with a spoon because if I don't, I could end up with half the bottle out there. This is just a kid's super chunky. If you want to have the sort of shining back at you effect of glitter, then you probably want to use a little microfine as well. It's really the microfine that shines back and looks so good for you. But this chunky stuff is just a lot of fun. Again, I want to be careful to not overfill my center here. I've got plenty of stuff in there. Yes, some is going to stick to my foam tape a little bit, that's just what it does, and you know, it's part of what you have to get by with. You can see on this card, see how much glitter is stuck to the edges. That stuff is just going to happen, and don't stress about it too much. You'll want to try and keep your objects in the center of the card if at all possible. The reason for doing that is just so that they don't stick so much to the foam tape before you get your back on. If your foam tape is full of junk, glitter and sequins and things like that, then your back isn't going to adhere. You're not going to have a good seal, and stuff will leak out. Again, it's important to have this firm seal, all sides of the foam touching, on a card like this, even more so if you use microfine glitter. Now I'm ready to add my card back. Isn't this easy? It's just the simplest thing to do, particularly with these cover-up cards. Just trying to be careful here to get it all lined up, because once I lay it down, it's a little bit harder to move. I'm going to press it on all sides before I pick it up and begin to move it, because as I begin to move it, objects are going to move, and then of course they'll stick to the glitter. But it's as easy as that. There's my little shaker card. I've got the fun objects inside. When I'm just using glitter, I tend to use a pattern paper behind it. When I'm using objects, I tend to use a solid paper just so you can identify easier what's going on back there. I sort of lost all my bats and stuff. They're in there, but they're not showing up very well, at least on camera, or so it looks to me. But again, you want to just sort of keep everything minimal so that when I see objects, I can identify them, have a lot of the glitter for the fun and for the color and everything else. Of course, my last step would be to add my little happy Halloween balloon here at the edge, and it's another shaker card. Super, super easy. So use those card cover-up dies for these great shaker cards. They're a lot of fun. People are really enjoying them right now. Thanks for watching. Bye.